Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me. For this video, I'm very excited to talk to you. Well, first of all, I want to just say the reason why this film is being made is because it is May the 4th. So I want to first start off by saying a happy May the 4th to you all, whether you love Star Wars or you don't. Star Wars is very important to me. It's had such a big impact on my life, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. I definitely wanted to make a video for May the 4th about Star Wars, but I couldn't really figure out what I was gonna do. I had some ideas, but I figured I just kind of let you guys all into, tell you guys my story of Star Wars and why I love it so much and just the impact that it has had on my life. So I figured that's what I would do here for you all. So, start off by saying where it all started for me was, of course, I grew up with the prequels. And I had the Phantom Menace on VHS, and I had the toys. I had a Qui-Gon Jinn and a Darth Maul action figures, and I would watch the Phantom Menace for hours on end, and I would just as soon as the film was over, I would go and I would create my own stories, and I'd have my own create my own characters and planets and everything like that. And I felt like I was George Lucas, creating my own stories. And that's kind of what the number one thing I want to. It all comes back to I'm not here. I don't have this video. My love for film, and everything. The reason why this channel was made, it all goes back to Star Wars, all those years ago of the impact that it's had on my life. And none of us are here without George Lucas. This man kind of he dedicated so much time and effort into creating this world, and the infamous story of how he just pitched it to all the different film studios in Hollywood, and they all turned him down until finally one took a chance on him, and the rest was history. you know and that's kind of I kind of connect that to my own life. When the things that I want to accomplish in my own life, I realize I go back to the story of George Lucas and how he created it, and he just never gave up on it. That's something that I respect so much. And look at how far we've come. When he was creating that story, I don't think he would have ever guessed that it would be this big, the biggest movie franchise in the world, in my opinion. I don't even think there's any debate, to be completely honest with you. There's really nothing like Star Wars out there. There's so many fans. There's so many people who love it so much, myself included, that it's created such a great community. You can come from many different backgrounds, different parts of the world. You speak different languages, but if you're a Star Wars fan and you know somebody else who is a Star Wars fan, you have that common bond, and you have that appreciation for one another and for this franchise, and that's just the beauty in all of it. Yeah, so like I said, my love for film and the reason this channel was made is rooted back all the way to my love for Star Wars. Some of my earliest memories, there's nothing. I always say this. There's nothing that I love more than going to the movies. The movie going experience is just something absolutely. It's just a beautiful experience to me. Going into movie theater, getting your popcorn, and witnessing a movie for the first time with a bunch of strangers, and there's nothing like it. And some of my earliest memories of being in the theater were watching Star Wars films. I remember watching Attack of the Clones as a kid in the theaters, and when Yoda is at the end after Count Dooku whipped freaking Obi-Wan and Anakin's ass. I remember it's crazy. I was so young, but I remember when Yoda comes in and he takes out his lightsaber, and I remember the movie theater going crazy. People were like standing up and cheering, and I was going crazy too. I was freaking little ass kid, but I was cheering, and I was just I went absolutely berserk. And then I remember watching the Revenge of the Sith and in the theaters when it came out, and that at the end when Anakin is burnt to a freaking crisp, and you see that they're putting the Vader suit on him, and then the mask comes on, and then you finally hear the infamous um, the, the Darth Vader breathing, and that was another jaw dropping moment in the theater where everybody kind of went crazy. And I'll never forget that. Those are the moments. That's why I love Star Wars so much. Some of my earliest memories, are from Star Wars, and although I'll never forget. I remember picture perfectly. Those moments being in the theater watching the Star Wars, and also bringing it back. Of course, as I got older and my love for film kind of increased, and I would always reflect on the impact that Star Wars had on my life. And then it kind of sucked because there were no more films being made, and then finally they announced when Disney bought Star Wars that they were going to make a new trilogy, a sequel trilogy carrying on the legacy of the Return of the Jedi. And I'll never forget being in the theater. I have no shame in saying it, that I was watching it with my friends in the theater, and the credits start to roll, and the crowd goes absolutely crazy. This is the first Star Wars film that we've had in like freaking 10 years, and I was freaking. In all honesty, I was like teary eyed. I was freaking on the verge of tears because just knowing that Star Wars was back and I was getting to witness it with all of my friends in the theater. It was really crazy. It was a really cool moment for me, and those are just some of the moments in my life of just kind of putting into perspective of why Star Wars is so important to me. And if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you love Star Wars as well, and you have your own personal stories, and it's a generational thing. Star Wars is endless. It's gonna create. People grew up with the original trilogy, and I grew up with the prequels, and then there's people who are gonna grow up and remember the first time watching the Force Awakens in the theater, and that's gonna be their first introduction into Star Wars, and that's the beauty in all of it. Star Wars is a galaxy that takes far, far away. There's so many planets. The mythology of the Force, the Jedi, all of it. There's so many stories to be told, and Star Wars is going to be around till the end of time. And I'm going to be here for all of it. Through the good and the bad of Star Wars. I know we're in a kind of in a divide right now. A lot of people, myself included, are very critical of where Disney is going with Star Wars. There's some good, there's some bad, but I'm here through the good and the bad. I'm always going to be a Star Wars. There's never going to be a movie that comes out. A movie can come out and be absolutely terrible, a Star Wars film, and it's not like I'm going to just abandon Star Wars. No, I'm in this for life, as I'm sure all of you are, and you know, that's the fun in being a Star Wars fan. And so that's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to come on here and just tell you my story of what Star Wars means to me, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Tell me, some of your earliest Star Wars memories and what Star Wars is, the impact that it has had on your life. I'd love to hear it. It's really cool to kind of, like I said, May the 4th, for all of us to come and reflect. And today, after I upload this, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna binge watch some Star Wars, and I'm gonna just eat it all up for today. Start every day for me is honestly Star Wars Day, but today especially, it's kind of really cool for all of us to come together as a community, and whether with whatever is going on in the world right now, we always have Star Wars, so that's really cool. So I want to thank you all for watching this video. Like I said, if you enjoyed what I had to say, please consider liking the video, commenting, subscribing, doing all that fun stuff. But thank you so much, and of course, be safe, and may the 4th be with you always.